you remember this? The Renault 4? You may not remember it, but back in the day, this car was super cool. Probably the coolest cat on the street. Probably Renault's rival to the Citroen 2CV, but it was a farmer's friend. It was a family favourite. It would lollop about country lanes. It was really comfortable. Lovely little design cues on this, but I used to love the Renault 4. But it's not about this Renault 4. Come over here. This is the new Renault 4. Following on from the Renault 5, this is part of Renault's retro reboot. This car is characterful, it's classy, it's charismatic. And remember I told you about 5 things for the Renault 5? I'm going to tell you 4 things about the new Renault 4. Number 1, let's look at the styling of the new Renault 4. Now, you wouldn't think that this underneath is the same thing as the Renault 5. It's been extended a little bit, but proportionally very much in keeping with the old car. So it looks like a little SUV, doesn't it? But let's start with some of the details. The frame of the grille, it's all plastic these days, but that is illuminated with LEDs. And these lights here, beautifully detailed LED lights. Chunky bumpers, as you'd expect from a car that's an SUV these days, and it's quite bluff, quite squarish as the old car was. These colours as well hark back to cars in the olden days, this sort of green colour, and there's a blue as well which looks really good, retro but kind of up to date. Chunky wheel arches, you've got these sort of extruded stripes here that look as though they're going to add a bit more protection. It's really quite cool. The way the rear window is very similar to the old car as well. And this is my favourite. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Have a look at this. A rollback canvas roof, electric these days, powered. Now this eventually is not going to be on the first cars. It's probably going to add £1,500 to £2,000 to the cost of your Renault 4 when you buy it. Let's talk about cost a bit later, but the car will start, I understand, around £26,995. So a little bit more than the Renault 5, probably about £2,000, but there's only one battery to choose from. Anyway, come and have a look around the back because there's some more lovely details, more chunky details, little roof spoiler here. Of course, you've got the contrasting roof colour, but the old Renault 4 used to have very distinctive rear lights, as does this. Look at these lovely rear lights, some lovely detailing with the central bits that light up, and these 3 separate bits there. Renault proudly emblazoned across there. Styling wise, I think it's another great job by Renault's design team. Yes, it's retro, it's not a pastiche though. They kind of brought it up to date. I like that. 2, let's talk about space and inside the car. Now, from my point of view, great, headroom's good. Visibility is okay, mirrors aren't particularly large. Quite a shallow windscreen as it is in the Renault 5, but for me in the driver's seat there's plenty of space. You've got wireless smartphone charging. In this car, 2 10-inch screens. The infotainment system is excellent, it's Google powered. You can use voice control for it, and you can also use voice control to open the sunroof and the windows and things like that. But this is a family car, so much as I'm very comfortable up here, what's it like in the back? Let's get out and we'll have a look in the back. Now, I know I'm not normal sort of family fare for sitting in the back seats here, but I'm a little bit disappointed that there isn't a bit more space back here. Maybe rob a bit of space from the boot just to give you a little bit more knee room. The bigger problem though is my feet. There's nowhere really to put my feet comfortably under the seat in front of me. I have got a flat floor, which means if there is somebody sitting in the middle here, they'll be better off. Headroom is okay, and if I shut the door, you know, it's not too bad, but it's not exactly spacious. The other thing is, if you just have a look at this door opening, it ain't huge. Now, not easy for me to get in and out. I'm a big guy, I know, but if you're putting a child in a child seat in here as well, it's not going to be the easiest. So just a little bit disappointed with space here. But let's have a look in the boot, shall we? Look at that. Powered hatch. Can you imagine what somebody buying an original Renault 4 would have thought if you press the button and the boot rises electrically? They'd have just laughed at you, wouldn't they? This is a 420 litre boot. There's some storage under here which you can put your cables in, or you can get a clever little bit of cable storage there. So 420 litres is really good, really family friendly. These seats will of course fold down nice and easily. There we go. Over here, we can fold the passenger seat forward. You're not going to be able to do that in the UK. So as much as I'm putting surfboards in here over in Portugal, sadly you're not going to be able to do that in the UK. But I'm pretty impressed with the boot space. I'll just make it a little bit smaller and bring the seats back a little bit perhaps. Number 3, let's talk about the drive. Now I'm on a country lane here. I've said that this is like a farmer's car, as it used to be, the Renault 4. But what's it like to drive today? Well, let's start with some numbers first. There's only one battery available on the Renault 4. It's a 52 kilowatt hour battery, which means a maximum claimed range, and it depends which version you go for, of 247 miles, which I don't think is too bad. Charging wise, for that 52 kilowatt hour battery, it's 100 kilowatt is the fastest charging speed that you can get, which is not too bad, not fantastic, but it means Renault quotes a 15 to 80% charge time. Thank you very much, goodbye. A 15 to 80% charge time of about 30 minutes. Now, this car is unsurprisingly very much like the Renault 5 to drive. It uses all the same underpinnings. It's slightly longer just to get a little bit more space in the back. But so far it feels very much like the 5 to drive, which means it's really quite comfortable. It's not super comfortable. I would describe the old Renault 4 as a bit of a lolliper, just sort of bouncy and super comfy over country lanes and with the family on board. This is a lot more tied down. Now, it's no sports car, but 0 to 60 in 8.2 seconds is still reasonably quick. I had a hot hatchback in the 80s, a Citroen AX GT. I think that was 0 to 60 in about 8 seconds. So, times have changed. Electric cars are quick, and you've still got the same response, and you've got multi-sense, different settings you can go into. I mean, sport now seems a bit wrong, but going back to the ride comfort, it is a little firmer than I thought. I thought they might have softened this off a little bit, but it's not going to be uncomfortable. You'll feel it if you go over a few potholes, but by and large, you're absolutely fine. Let's just have a look in the back. Big headrests really limit the rear visibility. The rear mirrors are okay. Visibility generally is pretty good. I mentioned earlier that the windscreen is rather shallow, but generally speaking, this is a nice, easy, comfortable car to drive. Renault have put the gear lever up here just behind the steering wheel, but there's no park button. Automatics should always have a park, so you've got reverse, neutral and drive. I mean, you have to put it into neutral, which is sort of finding it is quite difficult, and then just pull on the electronic parking brake there. But do you know what? I'm just kind of relaxing into this car. A bit of wind noise going around the outside of the mirrors. Sounds like the seals need a bit more thickening up or something like that. But generally speaking, it hasn't quite got the lollop that I would love to see in the old car, from the old car, but it's comfortable enough. It's not going to make the family sick. I think the bigger problem for this car, bluntly, is the space in the back. But for me, up here, these twin 10-inch screens look lovely. Google on board can be a real help. Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Encarnação, there will be scattered showers with a high of 18 and a low of 14.
Scattered showers. Good job we're getting the video done today. Four. I promised you 4 things, and 4 is the verdict. So what do I think about the new Renault 4? Well, yes, I do really like it. I think it's got character, which so many cars don't have, and it's difficult to inject character into EVs. Renault has managed it really, really well, just like they have with the 5. There's a little bit more practicality, but I'm going to have to be very honest. I'm just not quite enough space in the back. I was hoping there'd be a little bit more space. And one of my favourite cars that I've driven this year is the Citroen C3 Aircross, which might not go quite as far as this car, but it's a lot cheaper and it's got a lot more space, and the ride is probably a little bit more comfortable. Is it as cool as the new Renault 4? No, I don't think so. But if you want one of these, how much are you going to have to pay? So there are 3 trim levels. There's Evolution, Techno and Iconic. Now the range will start at $26,995 and go up to $30,995 for the Iconic version, which is the one we're driving here. You get a powered tailgate and all the loveliness in here, all the sort of retro cues across the dashboard, the material across the dashboard. That's really nice, by the way. It just warms things up. So it's not a cheap car. I think the word is that you could get a top spec Renault 5 or a mid spec Renault 4. Depends how practical you want your car to be, although practicality isn't the strongest suit. So yeah, what would I give the Renault 4? Well, I would probably give it 4 out of 5, which is 8 out of 10. Which isn't a bad result. It's just down to that lack of space, which kind of limits it as a family car, but I do quite love it. There's something about these cars, that charm, that charisma, that makes me love it.